You're right. Can you see me okay, or might this look like all shadow?
All right, good afternoon, Superkickin with Stephen fans, right here, ready to rock and roll. Stephen A, 1181. We'll get Greg going. How you doing, Greg? You getting all fixed up over there? Oh, you're muted. And you're frozen. All right, Greg, you may want to come in and out maybe. While we're getting Greg all sorted out, what a weekend for wrestling. Last week, we talked all up about CM Punk back in the scene. He was there on AEW Dynamite this week. We had SummerSlam. We had NXT. We had returns in Brock Lesnar and Becky Lynch. We have new champions in Damian Priest, Becky Lynch, new Raw Tag Team Champions. So a lot of stuff happening. How are we doing, Greg? Are you with us now? Maybe.
Hold on.
Okay. Oh, now I hear you. So we're on one step good.
Go ahead.
You're all frozen on my end, just so you know, in case you can hear me. You are frozen to the gills. Oh, we got a little movement. All right. We're going to get Greg back on in a minute and see how that goes. We're going to go back and forth, some few thoughts on SummerSlam, few thoughts on TakeOver the next night. I'll go kind of first give my own thoughts on SummerSlam. I thought the return of Becky Lynch was ridiculously good. I love Becky Lynch, obviously, right here. I will say, yes, does it look horrible that she beat Bianca Belair in 26 seconds? Probably so. Just as bad as when Sheamus beat Daniel Bryan in 10 seconds. The Rock beating Rowan in 20 seconds, whatever that was. I get it. I think Bianca's going to be okay not because of it. She'll be okay. I think, last night put her right back in the spotlight. You have Becky taking the heel side, almost stepping in for Sasha. I don't know what the heck is going on with Sasha. I don't see anything mentioned about her. I see where she's at, what she's doing, why she's gone. You also have Liv Morgan's show back up last night. You had, Carmella and Zelina Vega still in that title picture. So I really do think, Becky Lynch, Bianca Belair, full match at Extreme Rules, Hell in a Cell match maybe. I think this fall will be a good program for Becky and Bianca moving forward. So how about the end of the night? We saw Roman Reigns, of course, defeat John Cena. I thought maybe they might put the title on Cena just to give him that 17th win. You still wonder if that might come down the road. Maybe they'll wait until, WrestleMania 39, I believe, will be in Hollywood in LA. So maybe that's a bigger, the biggest scene he could do it at. You do feel like he's going to do it. I mean, he's right there. So, but then we saw the return of Brock Lesnar. And, Brock showing up with the little man butt or the little ponytail, looking more jacked than usual. Now the dynamic of him as a face against Roman, it sounds like that's going to happen in Saudi Arabia for Crown Jewel in October, which makes a lot of sense because you probably want all the big stars there. we got something in the meantime between Finn Balor, kind of circling back to that, which I like for Roman. So that's good. And then, of course, the beginning of the night, we saw RK Bro step up, knock it out of the park, become new tag team champions. Just a lot of momentum there. And, the fact that Raw ended with Matt Riddle, I think that says a lot about where WWE wants to position him. And, so those are kind of my takeaways from SummerSlam. We'll get Greg on when he can and get his take on, SummerSlam. But also NXT-wise, we saw Kaylee Ray show up to kind of be the next contender for Raquel Gonzalez's title. I wonder if Dakota Kai is now going to move up to the main roster. What more can she do? She got the title shot. She's kind of done her stuff with Raquel, kind of got that out of the way. I felt like it's a little rushed, but, in the bigger picture, it was, a slow burn. And then also we saw Samoa Joe get the title for a third time. All right, we're going to bring on Greg here. Let's see if he can come on. He's moving better, so that's good. Maybe better connection. How we doing, Greg?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. You are outside somewhere.
Yes, I am outside on location, communing with nature today.
On location. Okay, awesome. Are you getting a workout in? You look a little hot.
Yeah, it's a little hot out today. Went up to up north, up to Pennsylvania, the Amish country, and it's not time to check in yet. So, the game don't stop. So we gotta improvise and communing with Mother Nature today. That's what we're doing.
What are you doing in Pennsylvania?
Check it out. A very special somebody that she knows who she is, and we'll see what happens from there. But
my bad.
It is worthy of a road trip. So
awesome. All right. Well, there you go. All right. Hey. Got a little long distance thing there. Okay. Well, I don't know if you caught it. I said my 3 takeaways. We're just going to kind of give, quick hits from SummerSlam and NXT TakeOver. So kind of, my 3 takeaways from SummerSlam were RKO, rated RKO, or RK Bro, sorry. I thought they knocked it out of the park. And I thought Monday night showed where they want to position Matt Riddle overall. So that's good to see. I also said Becky Lynch. I did not foresee her coming back and, completely obliterating Bianca Belair. I know the internet world was buzzed with the word buried. And while I see it, I think Bianca's going to be okay. I thought last night she got the momentum back. I think, if Becky is fully the heel, Bianca's going to be the face. So I think in the long run, does it look bad? Yes. But at the same time, what is WWE all about? Those moments. Because what are they going to show next year? Oh, remember when Becky Lynch won the title? They might not even show Bianca, but whatever, So I hate saying okay with it, because as you can see, I'm a big Becky Lynch person. I mean, so, and it's kind of crazy that she looks better now than she did before the baby, which is just ridiculously to think. I'm sure women don't want to hear that, Greg, but it's pretty true. Like she looks
right.
Like, and she had to work a little bit harder, I'm sure, because of that. So, and then finally,
absolutely.
And you called it, Brock Lesnar back, sporting a little ponytail, the facial hair, a very different dynamic, because now we're going to get Brock as the face and Roman as the heel. And we thought it might have happened at Extreme Rules. Now I'm hearing, and now it makes sense, it's probably going to happen at Crown Jewel in Saudi Arabia because of, the big gala they want there. I'm sure the Saudi Arabia people, Saudi Arabians and whatever, who's in charge of that is like, we want Brock there. So we're probably going to wait till, I think it's the end of October-ish or middle of October, whenever that Crown Jewel show is. So we'll get Finn Balor in the meantime, which is good, because that means we're circling back to what Finn, saying I want to be in there. So I think Finn and Roman at Extreme Rules is a good, filler. I hate it for Finn in a way because it's filler, but I'd rather him do something meaningful than just, not do anything. So those are my 3 takeaways. Did you have 3 takeaways, Greg, that you wanted to add on for SummerSlam?
Plenty. For SummerSlam, yep. So I was doing the Tommaso Ciampa, give myself the pat on the back for seeing the Brock Lesnar angle happening and set up. The way you figured that there's nobody left for Roman who's leaves that question in your mind: can he beat him? And Cena did that until the go home show on Friday, when Roman just kind of as a throwaway line goes, "If I lose, I'll leave." That was very out of character.
Yeah.
Because being the controlling, dominant heel, he doesn't put something like that out there without getting something in return.
Yeah.
So I was waiting for something else, like, I'll leave if I lose, but if you lose, ... And he just goes out there, if I lose, I'll leave. And that kind of ruined the whole match right there. You knew I was going to go, and the way they drew it up previously, where they put some weight on the fact that John Cena would be the 17-time champion, playing the historical reference up. You could see it happening until that moment.
Yeah.
And Roman says, if I lose, I'll leave. Yeah, your top star across all brands is just going to pick up and go. Okay. Yeah, so that kind of ruined the whole match for me. And the match itself wasn't anything to enjoy either. It was a hot mess. So I kind of saw that coming, but the only guy left that will make the public, the universe, wonder if that guy can beat Roman is Brock. And this was the perfect time to bring him back. You got big shows coming up with Crown Jewel, and in a few months you got Survivor Series coming, and so you want to put him in position for one or both of those big matches. And this was the perfect time to do it, biggest stage to do it, and it only makes sense storyline wise with Heyman in the middle, and now Roman's starting to doubt his allegiance. Amen. The Usos are doubting his allegiance, and how's Brock going to spin it? So it's the perfect moment to bring him in. And now looking at the two, Brock is bigger. Brock is body size. He's thicker. He looks like he ate a Roman on the way to the ring, and now we wonder, okay, you're Mr. Head of the table, how you like these apples right here? And it's the most legit challenger that he's had since he got the title. So,
and here's a quick note real quick. Brock Lesnar is listed as having about 8 matches in this next year and a half. They're saying he's listed for 8 matches. So you wonder if they just might put the title on Brock. Because, like you said, after Brock, who's left for Roman to face?
Right.
Like you have to wait till WrestleMania and see who's going to be that Royal Rumble season. And so it's going to be interesting to see too what they do with, because it said around 8 matches, so maybe they could do less or whatever. But it sounds like Brock is kind of in it now. He wasn't on last night, which some people were like questioning, but he doesn't say appearances. It said matches, so that's going to be interesting to see match-wise, what will they do with Brock? Because I think it's a year and a half that he signed for, or maybe 2. Maybe if it's 2 years, you could spread it out. But you think a year and a half, 8 matches, that's quite a bit, with the normal schedule he works. So, but anyways, yeah, that's interesting to know. Okay. What else you got on your end?
So with Becky, that definitely caught me off guard. I liked how they painted the picture with the exception of Sasha Banks mysteriously disappearing. There were different ways you could have done that. Um, maybe earlier in the night, she's found laid out backstage, and the question is, who got Sasha, or some form of that. And then, you know, 30 minutes later, you go to the trainer's room. Trainer comes out, she can't go. Maybe not even show Sasha, and the trainer's just talking to Kayla or
talk
whoever.
to the trainer.
Yeah, and he's like, okay, she can't go. I can't clear her in good conscience, yada yada. And then they're forced to throw a emergency opponent in, and here comes Carmella. And then Becky comes out, wipes out Carmella, and Carmella's laid out in the same way that Sasha was. So without saying it, you can see the correlation, and there's your setup. So I'm just disappointed by how weakly they set it up, where we're ready and primed to see Bailey, or not Bailey, Sasha and Bianca, and then as she's supposed to make her entrance, the ring announcer already knows, okay, Sasha's not going to be here. And I felt the same thing that Bianca was feeling at that moment, like, what? And here's her replacement, and here comes Carmella, that she's beaten 3, 4, 5 times already. Like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. And so I'm all confused, and nothing makes sense. And once Becky's music hits, it takes a minute for it to click in my brain, like, who is this? And I'm betting I wasn't alone in that, because we've been chanting, where's Becky for a long time, but there's been no clues, no breadcrumbs
No
being dropped
teases.
about Becky coming back. So it took a minute for it to sink in that was Becky coming out. That was Becky's music. She got the pop and everything. So, but I think it was took a moment for the people in the arena to realize that was her. And once she came out, then the place went nuts. The squash was, well, I would have enjoyed a better match than having her come out and destroy Bianca like that. Um, you can salvage it by giving her legit rematch, and then having them have a good 15-20 minute match, and something like that. So I get why they did it. I just don't like how they did it. It could have been done better. Um, but I love it that Becky's back. She definitely is going to add some juice to the division. Um, and she's going to add something to watch on SmackDown other than Roman. And very surprised she's came out as heel in her promo. Um, I noticed that she was getting some boos while she was talking, and that was very unexpected given the reaction she got when she came out. And she leaned into it, and she went full Conor McGregor. She goes, I wanted to apologize to absolutely nobody. And that is exactly what Conor McGregor said after one of his wins, where all the smack talk and everything had been going back and forth for a while. And Conor starts the guy, and after all the off cage things that had been going on with him and his opponent, gets the post fight interview, and that's what he says. I want to apologize to absolutely nobody. And I'm the man, I'm the baddest, and that's exactly what Becky did. And that's what I thought of as soon as she said that, because she pretty much repeated it verbatim. And
worked on her Seth laugh.
Yeah.
Which I guess is a heel thing to do, because you have Carmella who does that laugh, you have Sasha who does that laugh, you have Bailey who does that laugh, Seth does that laugh. So yeah, I joked, I'm like, Becky and Seth must have on paternity leave, must have been like practicing how to laugh as heel characters, because
right.
They both have that thing. But the bigger story is I can't find anything about Sasha. And she wasn't even was she on TV? She wasn't on TV on the Go Home show. And was she on the week before? Because I can't remember.
I believe she was the week before, because wasn't the week before the braid across the mouth?
Okay, yes,
on the table.
Contract signing. Okay,
Right.
okay, because we kind of figured that was more of a go home show moment.
Right.
Because then you had Selena. Okay, yeah, that's right. But like, what's going on with her? Because there's not like you know, usually the internet knows everything, and I feel like none of these, you know, inside people have any information. So I don't, you know, it feels like something more because, like you said, you could have done some, you know, layout scene. Even that Friday night, you could have done something. But the fact that she wasn't even on TV on the go home show, and then, you know, you just mentioned, oh, she can't compete. Like, I don't know. They're like, what's going on there? So, and interesting now that I think about, all 4 horsewomen are heels now, which who would have thought, you know, because we always want them to team up and, you know, do something. Because some people have already said, would this year's, you know, upcoming WrestleMania be the perfect time to do all 4 horsewomen against each other finally, you know, at the same time. And I think, well, it's in Dallas, so why not? Because that's where you had Sasha, Becky, and Charlotte go for the first women's title. Remember when they went from divas to women's? So why not add Bailey in there and make everything come full? And if they're all heels or all faces, you know, just, you know, it'll be interesting to see where they go. But anyway, so yeah, did you have a third takeaway from SummerSlam?
Loved Gang or the Brood Edge
Gangrel
coming out. That was pretty awesome.
I did not foresee that coming either. Like, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I wish they just left him as that instead of, you know, stopped it and then kicking in his regular music and, you know, trying to bridge the two. I would have loved it more getting the full Brood Edge entrance because, you know, that's symbolizing the dark side and let him represent that all the way to the ring. But that's just me being picky about it.
Then you had Seth Rollins trying out for the Beatles Sgt. Pepper's band, I thought, with his look. Or somebody said it looked like Michael Jackson, like in the early 90s when he was really doing the King of Pop stuff. So I thought that was a pretty interesting correlation. Like, I don't know what usually we think of Nakamura and Michael Jackson. So I never would have thought, you know, Seth Rollins and Michael Jackson. Who knows if that's even what he was going for, but people kind of put it side by side. It's like, oh, that's kind of cool. But yeah.
I think that was definitely the best match on the card. The championship matches were a disaster. Goldberg was a disaster like we figured he was going to be. I don't like the angle that they're going with Gage.
Yeah.
And because it looks like they're setting up Goldberg for another match. And
does that happen in Saudi Arabia too, do you think?
Well, Saudi Arabia loves Goldberg. So I think he's been on all the Saudi Arabia shows, if I'm not mistaken. He took on the Fiend one year. He took on
Undertaker
the other year. And this is going to be a third year. I think they've only been doing Saudi Arabia 3 years.
Yeah.
Maybe 4. But he's been on all the shows as far as I can remember.
It probably is 4th because I felt like there was 1 year where they did it in October, and then wasn't it like April or no, it was like after summer or after WrestleMania, because wasn't that the greatest Rumble? I think the 50-man one.
The greatest Royal Rumble, yeah.
And I thought that, or maybe that was later, you know, maybe that was, I felt like that was after WrestleMania for some reason. Because it was kind of back to back, maybe.
Yeah.
But, and I don't think he was, I can't remember if he was at that one. I just know Mansoor won that, or no, Braun Strowman won that thing. Because Mansoor was in that.
Yeah, I think it is 4 years because Goldberg beat The Fiend in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, that's right. For the title?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I'm pretty sure, you know, Saudi Arabia loves Goldberg for some reason. And he doesn't lose. Well, I'm going to say he won't lose. I remember what the Undertaker decision was.
I can't.
But
no, he lost the Undertaker.
Okay. So
because they love the Undertaker.
they do love Goldberg too. So
Because that's when he almost dropped Taker on his head.
Exactly, yeah. I think so. Yeah, it looks like that's what they're going to be shooting for. Is Saudi Arabia wants Goldberg as usual, and there's probably going to be a rematch with the you put your hands on my son angle going on, and
yeah, it is what it is.
It may not be enough for him to take the title, but he'll get some measure of payback. So,
but at this point, he might win the title.
True. Arabia, all the bets are off. So,
and I guess with Big E lurking in the shadows, it'll be interesting to see if he gets switched to Raw or does he stay on SmackDown? Because that should be right after the draft. Because I think the draft is the first week of October. Then I think the Saudi Arabia show's like the middle-ish of October. So you wonder if they'll have guys switched over by then and kind of see if there's new faces on new shows. So.
Yeah. But yeah, I was kind of disappointed by the card overall.
Mm-hmm.
The match quality, the surprise returns were great, but there really wasn't much substance. The championship matches fell flat. Edge and Seth was, I think, hands down the best match.
Yeah.
And everything else was just, passable. Takeover was far and away the best show of the weekend.
Yeah. What you have saw on there, I said I was really interested to see Kaylee Ray because now that now we're seeing a lot more UK talent come, which makes me wonder are they which might be good for the UK show because that means they're going to bring in new guys and girls. So and she's done everything probably over there. So I wonder if she'll be full time in NXT. It looks like because she had the match this past Tuesday, so she'll be a good next step for Raquel. And then I was questioning, does that mean Dakota gets up to the main roster? Because is there anything left for Dakota to do down there? She's already done, they were one-time tag team champions. She got her title shot. She lost. That's broken up. I mean, is there anything more for Dakota really to do down there? Or does she, like Raw probably needs some women. And I'd like to see Dakota go to Raw just as, something there. But, and then the Samoa Joe winning the third time is pretty crazy to think. I didn't really care for the match, though. I don't know about you, but I kind of felt I knew it was going to be slow and, plodding, but the Walter Dragunov match was so darn good. I think it took away from Samoa Joe because we said they're almost mirror images. Like they probably should have been about the same type of match. And I was really happy to see Dragunov. Like we knew you talk about like just kind of laying in the weeds and just working your way up. And, now he's a Russian is the UK champion, which is kind of funny to think. But, I think he'll do good for that brand. And, what does Walter do? But, Samoa Joe, Karrion Kross, I don't know. It was just kind of I didn't feel like it was as good as it could have. It felt slow moving. It was nice to see, though, Joe pull out the Muscle Buster, which we haven't seen since Tyson Kidd incident.
Yeah.
Which, hopefully, nothing happens with that. I understand why you took it away because you just don't know. I mean, it's like any move, though. You hit any move wrong, you could hurt somebody. So, I'm sure they'll trust him to do it. And, and then, of course, we saw a Gladiator Cross on Monday night. So, yeah, our Farouk, should we call him Farouk Cross from now on? We're waiting for Sonny to show back up because that was interesting. But anyway, so those are my kind of takeaways from NXT. What about you, Greg?
Yeah, the Joe and Cross was a very clunky match. I see what they were trying to do with it, but I don't know if it's the unfamiliarity or the guys
just couldn't get going
each other's way. Yeah, I was shocked that he busted out the Muscle Buster and beat him with it. Like I said last week, because of Tyson Kidd, I don't think he was ever going to get to do the Muscle Buster in WWE again. And maybe that's what it is. That you can't do it on the main roster, but if you want to do it in the NXT, go ahead. And they let him do it, and it got the job done. So it was surprised to see that finish. But the match was pretty lackluster. But I called it that Dragunov and Walter was going to be the best match.
Yeah.
And it was. That match delivered on every level. Speaking of finishes, that was a very interesting finish to that match that Walter tapped out so quickly. It was definitely a change from the usual with the way they finished the match, that it was so decisive like that. So I was expecting Walter to win, but I like Dragunov winning. Dragunov is what baby faces should be. He doesn't have to be happy-go-lucky and pander into the crowd and everything. He can be ferocious. He can be vicious. He can be loose and like a loose cannon. He can be crazy, and he can be savage, and it can still come across strong. And he can go right at the heel and with both barrels and look like a boss doing it. And I wish more baby faces would take a note from what he does, because he looks a little crazy, he looks a little insane, but he looks really awesome. And if you do it right, you don't have to be cookie cutter baby face. You can get over it as that extreme savage guy, and take no prisoners. And I wish more guys would do that. So I love Dragunov, and I was thinking they were going to lean into, because they were hitting that he was 870 days as champion.
Once they keep saying the number, it makes you wonder.
Right. 4 more months would have meant 1,000 days. So that's what I was seeing, was that, maybe not since Bruno Sammartino has anybody reigned for 1,000 days. So that's what I was sensing. Something was going to be happening with that number, because they kept harping on the number and how long.
It's still the 6th longest, and reign of any title, though. That's pretty high company. And then I think Pete Dunne is 7th, which is kind of funny to think. Like, now granted, we got to put a little asterisk because some of that reign, for Walter was like, he didn't defend. Granted, the way he defends it is better. I think better. It is like an attraction. And how about some of the backhanded chops to the neck, like of Dragunov, were just like, I'm like, those look worse than now his chest. My God, they took the picture of him like just in the locker room. He's like this, and his chest was just like welted up like anything. But it's crazy some of those chops in the back of the head, I mean, were just like vicious. So that's the thing. I thought it's like they said, go out there and do it. But then with Cross and Joe, they almost said hold back, or so, I don't know. Like, it just seemed like they were holding back a little bit, but they did all the brutality when they tore the place apart for CWC, and then it's like you had nothing left. You had no place left to go. So, but yeah.
So, I love they paid off the $1 million angle with Grimes putting all the pieces together, winning the title, getting DiBiase on his side, and ending the rivalry with LA Knight.
Yeah,
it was a good run. Loved the storyline. Loved the interplay with the three of them. It was money all the way through, and everybody gets their rub. Everybody comes out look like $1 million, pun intended. And now, as we saw on the NXT after, they're all going their separate ways and doing the next thing. So I was very happy to see night come out when they're doing the parade of challengers for Samoa Joe.
Yep.
And of course, it doesn't make sense since he lost his match, but he's pompous and arrogant and is self-absorbed, and
he wants more.
He's going to be in the mix. So
yeah,
when he comes out to the ring with the microphone in his hand, I drop everything I'm doing. So I'm always going to be here for it, and at least it tells you what they're going to do with him. He's not going to get a title shot anytime soon, but he's going to put in that ring of contenders, and he's going to not fight any other guys, and maybe some long-term storytelling with that happening. But
and could still get called up. I feel like after all, like if he's in that main event, right at the cusp, maybe he loses the title match, and then I'd say maybe by Royal Rumble time at the latest. I feel like you said, I feel like he's due up earlier, sooner rather than later. Maybe draft time. That gives a couple months to really hone his, sharpen up what they want to do with him. But at the same time, if they want to just give him a talk show and let him run with that for a few weeks, and then you could build up a feud from there. Give him at least time on TV and take over Moist TV as we saw, because that's going to go away. So but anything else you got on NXT Takeover?
No, definitely but the best show. I agree. It's time for Dakota to go up. Raquel looks solid. They had a great match.
Yeah.
I figure if you put their match against the women's matches on SummerSlam, that it was far and away the winner. So, shout out to those ladies for doing such a great match. They definitely outshine their competition. And, so I'm always Team NXT, and after, last weekend, you can see why.
All right. Well, let's do a quick commercial break so we can get going right into our stuff. We'll kind of talk Raw and NXT, get the beginning of the week. Maybe we'll do Dynamite as well, and then get to the end of the week. So more CM Punk on our TV is good, and, new challengers showing up for championships. But let's do a quick Elite Performance commercial. Then we'll get right into Raw and NXT. All right, so first off, we kind of kicked off tonight with Lashley of Monday Night Raw. We had Damian Priest out there, Drew McIntyre, of course, and Sheamus, because we originally had Damian Priest and Lashley. That went to DQ because, we had to get a tag team match. So Damian Priest, Drew McIntyre defeated Bobby Lashley and Sheamus by pinfall. So, Greg, the big question is, since we think Goldberg is not next, who is next for Lashley at Extreme Rules? Because you think you can't put Drew McIntyre in there, even though you kind of have him in there. Do you do a fatal four-way and that's your out to somehow put Drew in there? I mean, technically Lashley's still champion though, so you can't. But, then you don't want to do Damian Priest because he's the U.S. champion. You don't want to do Sheamus and Lashley because that just doesn't interest me at all. So what is for Lashley at Extreme Rules? Because we're only, a few weeks away from it, so we got to start seeing where we're going to go with him.
No, the answer is Sheamus.
Okay.
And they did the groundwork and, setting up the beef with them with Lashley walking out and then Sheamus going Lashley's locker room and, expressing his beef, and you get to the part where they had to be pulled apart. Now going to have a match on Monday, and my prediction is this goes without a finish. Maybe they brawl into the stands, or have a double DQ, something like that leaves the situation unresolved. Or maybe
TLC
Sheamus,
match.
right? Or maybe Sheamus goes for a sneak attack with a chair, some type of weapon,
So
that plays into the Extreme Rule business. But you're going to get, but these two villains, a really smash mouth, brutal type of match, and you've taken. It's going to be a filler. Lashley's not Lashley's not going to lose the title, but
yeah.
If you want to just kind of skip over Extreme Rules and have the big money match at Crown Jewel, this is the perfect filler opponent. You got both of these guys, and they're just going to beat the crap out of each other. We're just going to enjoy the brutality, and you're going to have the same, Lashley outcome. But
does that leave McIntyre and Priest to go for the U.S. title, do you think?
Yeah, that makes the most sense.
Just like a friendly, it'll probably turn into the, pushing back and forth, type deal, but they'll do it. They'll give the respect factor at the end of it.
Right.
If they even go at it.
Yeah, it's like a feeling Drew and Priest, but see,
there's really nobody else.
It's too early to do Priest and Lashley, like you said. It could be just I want to see how I measure up type of storyline, and go from there. So,
and if Priest picks up wins over Drew, that puts him a step above. Like,
right?
It's Drew McIntyre, and not that Drew is Teflon, but he could probably eat some losses to Priest, and Survivor Series could be the winning captain and build himself back up, or Royal Rumble makes a good showing at Royal Rumble, last 3 or 4, and then because I'm still wondering what he'll do. I know WrestleMania is months away, but things come so quickly. You wonder what will be his big time match, because I still keep harping on it. I feel like Drew is due a good reaction at WrestleMania, a good win at WrestleMania. He got it at Tampa, granted, but he lost. He didn't get the win. So, I think Drew is due a good win in front. I mean, people have said Cena, maybe Cena and Drew, and I'd have to see how that plays out. I feel like that'd be the respect factor type match too, where nobody's really the bad guy per se, but Drew wants something, kind of get rid of the old guard, I guess, or something like that. But Eva Marie attacked Drew Doudrop backstage, so now we're finally seeing the crack right there. We were hoping, Greg, I know, for her to say, "I'm Piper Niven. This is who I." But now she says, "I like the name Doudrop." So it is what it is, Greg. I know, but we'll get some Eva Marie and Doudrop. And some people brought up that Dakota Kai had the nice pinkish hair like Eva Marie. So could you slide Dakota maybe as a heavy for Eva Marie? Because Dakota's kind of a badass. She doesn't look the part. She's not the size factor, but she can hold her own in the ring. So maybe you have Dakota stepping up to the plate as Eva Marie's next protege, especially since she has the pinkish hair. Maybe she could do the old Trish Stratus thing where they had Mickey James as the stalkerish type deal. So and maybe that rubs Eva Marie the wrong way, but then it gives Eva Marie somebody else to kind of pull her along with. So Eva Marie and Doudrop, Greg, have at it. What do we think there?
Well, it finally happened. We've been waiting for it, been predicting it, and it finally happened. That Doudrop declared her independence, and I hated that she, decided she liked the name Dewdrop. I mean, that's like saying,
Vince like the name Dewdrop.
yeah. Um, I like my slave name. Thank you. I'll keep it. No, no, no.
DD, double
It's
D. That's why he probably did it.
it's yeah, don't like that part, but at least, she's, staking her claim, and, she's going to get her retribution for, all the embarrassment she's had to suffer at, Eva Marie's hands. And I know not putting Dakota as a new heavy for Eva Marie, given Dakota's snarly, alpha female type of personality, and having her being led around by Eva Marie, it doesn't make sense. Um, somebody like Aaliyah that we haven't seen pop up yet, or somebody who's a little more green and
Gullible.
malleable, yeah, gullible.
Can we go back to
make more
Dana?
sense there. There's a possibility she doesn't have anything else to do.
I mean, and she was always flexing, and she's probably back in catering, looking for something to do. Just throw on a pink wig. I mean, give her some extensions of pink.
Yeah, for sure. Bring up Dakota, but not with Eva. She needs to fly on her own, because she's too good, personality, and too good in the ring.
Oh, Dakota, yes, yeah,
yeah, to be anybody's sidekick. We already put out the sidekick angle, so I don't think she wants to repeat it on main roster.
All right. Karrion Kross defeated Ricochet via submission. Have at it, Greg. What about the gear? If the gear fit, I mean, it kept coming down. It kept like he had to keep adjusting it. It made me think of Ronda Rousey, where she'd have to keep fixing her top and her tights. Like, get gear that fits. Like if it fits. I hate saying like SMM gear, but like make it fit, and then I don't know it. Yeah, it does suck because the night before he was in his old gear, like he just had the trunks on, and and where's Scarlett? Like we still don't know, because she didn't even come out with him at NXT, and I was like, well, at least I'll have her come out with him there, right? I mean,
right.
So are they prepping her for something else? Maybe she comes out on SmackDown, because why not give them all the women, Greg? Build up their women's division, but don't care about Raw when Raw could probably be a decent division. But anyway, so at least he's away from Jeff Hardy at the time. I mean, I guess that's good, right?
Yeah. I'm so disappointed with the whole situation regarding both of them, Ricochet and Karrion Kross. And the only thing I've heard about Scarlett is that she's not medically cleared. I was like, well, medically cleared to what? She hasn't done anything since the moment they came in.
Did she get in the pregnancy, the baby fever, like, was going around there for a little bit? I mean, we got Lacey and Rhonda and Becky and the Bellas and
True, maybe, but all she did was stand at ringside and look good. So, I mean, even if she's pregnant, she can do that.
Wasn't an easy gig.
Right. So I don't get it, and I'm just kind of lost on. I'm disappointed for both of them. At this point, I hope Ricochet is getting near the end of his contract, because they're wasting his talent, and Cross needs a reboot. Like you said, hopefully once Scarlett comes back, that'll flip the switch for him and become the killer that he was in NXT. I'm not holding my breath for it, though, seeing how they've mishandled him so egregiously so far. So the whole match, the whole scenario around him is a huge disappointment.
And I don't really want to talk about it, but apparently Logan Paul appeared on Moist TV for whatever reason, I still don't get why Logan Paul was there, but whatever. Pretty much this is all leading to, so we had Miz come out there. We had Xavier Woods come out there. Xavier Woods defeat the Miz. Finally, Greg, unfortunately, though, we had the Miz, John Morrison, breakup like that. They're going to fight each other next week. And it's sad to see the greatest tag team of the 21st century fall apart like that. But maybe needed. I know a lot of people wanted John Morrison to do more, so maybe this opens that door up, and we'll see. Apparently, and it was funny, somebody brought up that the Miz had lost to Kofi Kingston last time when he turned on Morrison, and then Morrison was gone because he got let go the next day or whatever. The Miz beat Morrison in that. I think it was a Falls Count Anywhere match. And then it was over. I think the Miz was champion at the time. But anyways, so now, we'll get the Miz and John Morrison after Xavier Woods. But how about Xavier getting some time? You talk about, I never saw him as a singles guy, but he's been, ever since WrestleMania, he's been getting some singles matches here and there. So cool to see that for Xavier. And unfortunately, it's at the downfall of Miz TV or Moist TV. Miz TV, the dirt sheet, whatever we're going to have for them. And now we'll see Morrison and Miz kind of go at it for a little bit.
Yeah. Well, going back to the Logan Paul thing, he was just there to promote his brother's fight.
That's true.
Jake Paul's fighting Tyron Woodley tomorrow.
Okay.
In a
Which
boxing.
Fans didn't care about because they kept booing the hell out of him.
Yeah. Everybody's rooting against the Paul brothers, and for the first time, Jake Paul has a real chance of losing because Tyron Woodley is a former UFC champion, and he's known for his heavy hands. He starts some of the best of the best. So this is the first time he's actually.
Or something, or
yeah, but he's beaten nobodies. Yeah, he's beaten a wrestler who didn't know how to box. He beaten a basketball player who was 5'4" who didn't know how to box. And he hasn't fought anybody legitimate, and the whole Mayweather thing was a sham. So we're not even counting that.
I was saying Logan got knocked out by Mayweather. I mean that. Yeah.
Yeah. This is the first time he's in there with somebody who can seriously pose a threat to him. Whitley's been in the air, and he's 5'9", 5'10" guy. I want to say. I've seen him at the airport, and he's about my size. So he's 5'10", 5'11", and he's knocked out much bigger guys. So there's a real chance that given the right moment, he can starch Jake Paul, and the internet will be broken. So he was just there to promote that. I thought it was funny when Miz asked him what round his brother was going to get knocked out in. So you can see he was playing up the heel card right there, and a little love for that comment. But Miz and Morrison, have been done with these guys for a while, and Morrison just looked like a huge dope because Helen Keller could see that turn coming, and he was oblivious, and of course he got clocked, and that sets up the match for next week. But goodbye and good riddance, Miz and Morrison. I was hoping and praying that that moment they had during the little back and forth, that LA Knight was going to come out. That pause when I think just before Logan came out or something like that. But it looks like somebody was coming, and it wasn't him. But I was hoping it was going to be him, but it wasn't. But thankfully, done with that. Bring up LA Knight, give him a talk show. I love how he busted up gimmicks. He was that promo. He cut all his Impact catchphrases, and it sounded awesome, and it sounded awesome on the main roster. So bring up LA Knight, WWE. Let's go.
And we didn't give a thumbs up to Xavier Woods and his Razor Ramon outfit the
That's
night
right.
before, because
That's
that thing
right.
was the
That was
NWO
money.
style, and his little even had the little curl. So
The whole gimmick. Yeah, it was
we
beautiful.
talk about.
Beautiful.
I mean, literally, New Day could go to Vince and say, "We want to do this," and Vince is like, "Okay." Like, talk about power. Like, because who would go up to Vince and be like, "Hey, I want to do an NWO cosplay," and like get it approved, but yeah, so that's pretty cool to see. And now they have New Day Rocks t-shirts that have the NWO type logo. So might be starting my wish list soon for some from New Day gear, because that's a pretty cool shirt. And it's red and black, so it's kind of it'll freshen up my black wardrobe that all my wrestling t-shirts are black. So you got to give some different colors every once in a while. But Mansoor defeated Jinder Mahal by DQ. Does Drew McIntyre find his way to this? Now that I kind of think about it, because if you have Jinder Mahal with Veer and Shanky, you have Mansoor and Ali. They kind of need somebody. Does maybe Drew find his way into that feud? And then we talked about a 3-man team anyway, so maybe we go that route for Extreme Rules. What do you think there, Greg?
It makes sense, and it's quick and easy, kind of
filler feud.
So yeah, just to blow off the rivalry, and then send them on their separate ways after the pay-per-view. So yeah, makes good
sense.
And
we're pushing Mansoor and Ali as faces. I know you're not into that, but I think they want Ali to cycle back to maybe keeping his edge, but following Mansoor's lead to try to get up wins. So yeah, we'll see how it all works out. Charlotte Flair came out there and ran down the roster and said nobody could beat her. So this is my thinking, Greg, where I was like, she kept saying, "I'm the opportunity." I was like, "Come on, Tessa Blanchard. Come on, Tessa." I know. And she's somebody who hasn't been even talked about. Like, you know how much of momentum she had there. I mean, late last year, and now it's like gone. So Alexa Bliss comes out there just to say hi. So it does look like we'll get Alexa and Charlotte. I think that'll be a good feud. We can see what maybe they might do Hell in a Cell match. And, we'll kind of see what Alexa could do in the cell. I think that could be, that could play up to her, fiendish ways. So are you okay with Charlotte and Alexa kind of be the next feud? It gets Nikki and Rhea away from there for a little bit. So I think I'm okay with, Alexa being that next contender.
Yeah, it's finally something different. And, a matchup that, we'll stop what we're doing and watch, just because of, everything is so drastic. The height difference, the personalities they portray, they're both heels, but they're different types of heels. And at least Alexa is something of a likable heel. So, yeah, we'll watch this because at least it's not Nikki and Rhea. So I like it. I'll watch it, see what happens.
And I guess the default we are going to bring up, so Nikki and Rhea defeated Shayna and Nia Jax by pinfall. I hope they're not doing the Randy Orton, Matt Riddle route, because we just did that. But it looks like they're doing the Matt Riddle and Randy Orton route with Rhea and Nikki. So, yeah. I don't got anything there, Greg. Do you have anything on Nikki and Rhea trying to team together?
Yeah, I won't worry about it. It's not going to work. We don't have enough invested in either of these teams to make it last, past, a month of TV. So yeah. I think we're safe here.
And I just don't know what is next for Nikki and Rhea. Do they find themselves in the title picture maybe after Alexa and Charlotte? Like, do they find themselves back in the title, the women's title picture?
I think the shakeups was going to give them
You think one of them might
repurpose it.
go? One of them might go, like you said. I think you said Rhea maybe to SmackDown,
Yeah,
and Nikki maybe stays on Raw.
right.
Or do you
So,
think they both go to? Do you think they both go to SmackDown?
but not both.
Yeah,
Um,
because I think they need to
Nikki,
be separated.
yeah, Nikki has an uphill climb as it is, and switching
Yeah.
brands, I don't think it's going to help her at all. So, I think she'll stay where she is, but Rhea needs a fresh coat of paint.
Mhm.
SmackDown blue. So, I think that's definitely going to happen.
Especially if you have Becky as a champ still, Rhea can be a good force to kind of go against her. The good and bad. So, and then
Right.
finally, Matt Riddle defeated AJ Styles versus pinfall. We had Almost out there. We had Randy Orton out there. That all played a part. I guess we're going to get a rematch between these two at Extreme Rules. Don't know what will be involved. Scooters, maybe. you know, maybe they'll have a scooter on a pole match. I'm just totally obviously being dumb here. But yeah, we should get some TLC type match, though, I think, just to kind of give it some flair to it. So, what are your thoughts on Riddle and Orton and AJ and Omos going at it again for the titles?
Hey, do it. Tag team title rematch in a TLC match.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Yep.
It's got
So,
the heat. It's got the it's got the backstory. It's strong enough to carry a TLC match. So
mhm,
not all the rivalries are good enough to warrant that match. A tables match, yeah, a ladders match, yeah, a chairs match, but not all three. So
mhm.
this is worthy of a TLC match.
That was Raw. So we'll get right into NXT. So Ridge Holland defeated Timothy Thatcher by pinfall. Still looks like champion Ridge Holland will go at it. So we have the whole team of Pete Dunne, um, Oney Lorcan, Ridge Holland, and now Danny Burch is back. So who in the hell can come team up with Thatcher and Ciampa? Because it all looks like it's leading to War Games,
Yep.
which is in November. But I guess we have time. Maybe they might call some people down. But right now, I have no clue, Greg, who could step up to help out Thatcher and Ciampa, because it just doesn't feel like anybody on the NXT roster really fits that bill. Do you have any names out there? Because I don't, and I'm willing to listen, though, and see what names you throw out.
Well, first name that comes to mind is Gargano
Mm-hmm.
because the way it's going to be going back to baby faces,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know, go ahead and throw Loomis in there. So
Okay.
Ciampa, Thatcher, Gargano, Loomis. Um,
War Games
you know, we,
match.
right. So Loomis has been doing, as solid as work as you can be doing without saying a word.
Yeah.
So, um, you know, the guy, you can't help but like him. You know, the creepy, stalkery guy, but he gets the girl, and um, he's been shining. His matches have been good, and um, it's raising his profile a bit. So I think the way is switching to baby anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, back history with Champ and Gargano, of course, and I think that wasn't there some type of interaction with Gargano and that crew not too long ago, if I remember right.
Yeah, I think
But
so.
um,
And that makes sense if you have Loomis as maybe you have Loomis bring in Gargano somehow. Like, because
yeah,
Gargano obviously is going to be very leery about teaming up with Champa, you know. So maybe you have him. But I mean, this is tailor made for some sort of War Games match. And,
absolutely.
I think it'll be kind of a fun match to throw out there. So, Caden Carter, Casey Castanzaro defeated Gigi Dolan and then Jesse Jane. I'm sure both of us would like to see Dolan and Jane pick up the win.
Yep.
Unfortunately, they didn't. So it might be too soon for them yet. I would think Carter and Castanero kind of find themselves back in the title picture whenever Zoe Stark and Io Shirai decide to show back on TV with the titles, because we haven't seen them on TV with the titles since they won. We've seen the segments, backstage, or the vignettes of dinner and then whatever the other ringside thing was, but I would assume we're going to see them back on TV with the titles the next couple weeks. So any thoughts there, Greg? Are you okay with them being the next title contenders? I know like I said, we wanted Dolan and Jane probably to find themselves, but it's probably too early since they're just kind of fresh to the roster.
Yeah, exactly. Casey and Caden have, earned their stripes, and they look decent, and their size works against them, of course. They're giving up about 6 inches apiece to whoever their opponents are, because they are so short. But when you're shorter, those high flying moves look that much more amazing. So, and their finisher looks strong. So, got to give them credit for that.
And Io Shirai's not anything to write home about height wise, so at least that works. And then Zoe Stark, well, it feels like forever since I've seen her in a ring. I don't think she's much taller than Io. So, like you said, I think physically they'll be able to pull it off. And you have Casey with her American Ninja Warrior, her outing, because she was on that show. So,
right.
Yeah.
But I'm with you. I think Gigi and JC Jane are where the money is. They have the look. They have the, that it factor about them that Casey and Caden don't. So I think in a matter of time, they'll get their push. But, I can see them doing KC squared for the championship.
Yeah, because Casey and Caden, there's just nothing there. Hey, we're friends. That's all they run on, we're best friends. And it feels very forced as well, which is funny because they are legit friends outside the ring, but something about it just feels forced. So Kaylee Ray picked up a win, but I want to talk about Samoa Joe because every guy came out there to confront him. Like you said, we had LA Knight, we had Pete Dunne, we had Kyle O'Reilly. I think Gargano was out there at some point. Ciampa was out there at some point. I mean, we had everybody. So, Greg, right now, who's the first contender you want to throw out Samoa Joe?
Yeah, I think Pete Dunne makes the most sense.
Yeah, and that's what I
want to
go.
Those two have been posturing back and forth for a while. Just, quick little backstage, catching each other's glances and mean mugging each other. That's been going on back and forth for a bit. So Pete Dunne makes the most sense.
Are you okay with it being a TV match? Or do you want to – and see, that's my only downfall. Do we want to save it for, the next takeover or next War Games or whatever? Because I feel like it's a throwaway match, on a TV-style match. But at the same time, I think I'd be okay with it if you give them 20-some minutes, given the last, half hour to just go at it, in a main event type TV style match. So,
yeah, it would be takeover worthy. It's with them, but some of the other guys that came out, not so much. LA Knight should be a TV match.
Yes.
Much as I love the guy, do it on regular TV. Gargano would, build it up right, would be worthy of a special event takeover style match. So depends on who it is and if they build it up right. But Dunn should be the first guy, and eventually I think it's gonna. Kyle's gonna get his shot. I don't like what they're doing with him. The whole cool Kyle thing is pretty much a dud, and they're still trying to figure out who he is and what he's doing. I get him coming out and saying, I want, next shot, but I'm not feeling Kyle right now. So Dunn seems the better option for sure.
It feels like Samoa Joe's gonna have to be a longer champion than what we might have thought as well. Like, I was thinking a couple months, but he might get till the end of the year because right now it's hard to find that next guy that's ready. We've went to Gargano before. LA Knight, I don't think we'll ever get the title. I think he'll just kind of be that title picture and then get bumped up. I mean, Could you revisit Ciampa? Maybe, but and then maybe Pete Dunne's the guy. Maybe he gets it. Maybe he faces Joe in another match on TV, on a pay-per-view to get the match, the title, and kind of lead his faction. Whenever they're going to get a name, I still want a name for them, so we don't just have to say, those four guys. If we called it Team McAfee before, but now McAfee's not even involved with that. And by the way, shout out to Pat McAfee for fighting COVID because he unfortunately got it and he's vaccinated. It still was kicking his butt. He said a big fever, drenched in sweat. So and he lives here in Indy, so he's quarantined up in his house. As he showed a couple of pictures from him just laying in the bed because that's all he could really do. So hopefully, he'll be back on TV at some point because he said out indefinitely, which is never a good thing. Makes you wonder. But anyways, so I
think with him. Also in that segment with the paraded challenges that came for Joe, I loved how they made him strong in the sense of every time they do this paraded challenges business, the numbers take over and champion ends up taking a beating. But
he didn't.
Joe was smart enough that he saw the guy coming from behind him. He saw the guy sneaking up from the side, and he was dropping everybody left and right, head on a swivel. And that's how, your champ knows that the guys are coming for him. That's how he should be doing it. That's how it always should be done. But this is the first time they've got it right in a long time. So I was impressed that they nailed it this time with Joe. But that's the way it should be.
And then we had Carmelo Hayes defeat Odyssey Jones. You could have gone either way. Both these guys look ready for NXT. And I think both these guys will be big names, in the next year. If, Carmelo might already be working his way up already, but I think Odyssey Jones guy, this time next year on NXT, I think we're really going to be talking up. So any thoughts on that, Greg?
Yeah, good match. I was a little surprised by the ending. But it is what it is. I was Team Carmelo after the fail that was the promo the week before when the matchup was set and they interviewed Carmelo at the top of the ramp and he gave a great promo and the meat of it was it's like a video game where you get to that final boss and you beat the final boss and you win. And it's like plot twist, I'm the final boss. And then Odyssey comes out. And so Carmelo's, he's put the tee out. He's put the ball on top of the tee. And all Odyssey has to do is hit it. And he did nothing. He stood there and he stared at him. And he did his little whoop, whoop thing. Yeah. And that was it. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
That's it. He gave you all the meat on the bone, and that's what you give me. You need to, give your title shot to the second runner-up and go back to promo class because you suck, dude. I was really disappointed by that, and he could have. There was so much could have done with what he just gave you before you came out, and you did nothing with it, and. That's you. That's on you. And if you can't deliver, on the mic, we're not going to buy you in the ring when it's been that time on you. And from that moment, I was Team Carmelo as far as this finals matchup. So I know it's kind of weirdest things to pick on, but it all counts. It's part of your overall grade. It's like an essay. You get points for references, you get points for your material, you get points for A, B, and C. And if you can't do it all, then you're going to get a failing grade. So that was a big fail for me, and that showed some of his work. He's trying to rely on his size and just his look to get him by, and you can't do that. You got to be good at everything. And Carmelo looks like a finished product. His the way he carries himself, the way he talks, the way he wrestles. He's looking a lot more like a complete package than Odyssey is. So that was my thought. But hopefully Odyssey will figure it out and make a name for himself. But after that promo, I was done with him for the short term at least.
I would imagine Carmelo probably asked for a North American title shot. I know the NXT title makes more sense because it's a bigger title, but you wonder if maybe, because at the level he's at right now, maybe it makes more sense to kind of put himself in the mid range and see where he goes. But, I mean, I guess if you want to, Samoa Joe could work with anybody, though. So maybe he does. They said any title, but it'll be interesting to see, how long they wait, and all that. But does, like you said, I think Cabrillo's a step ahead. But I'm still kind of holding out hope for Odyssey Jones because he's a bigger guy, which kind of sucks because we just got rid of Bronson Reed. But that's a whole nother another ball of wax, and I think Bronson Reed will end up fine wherever he ends up. We'll see where that is. But Boa lost. Mei Ying tried to step up again. I don't know what we're doing with all this, Greg. Xia Li's missing. If we have Milk Carton, her face has been on there for a while because, if you're not going to use her, then call her up to the main roster and see what she could do there. Because obviously you've moved on from her down there. But any thoughts on the whole, wherever this is going, Greg? Boa keeps losing. I thought he lost before too. So obviously they don't have much faith in him. And whatever this stuff with Mei Ying is she going to wrestle? Is she just going to do her, choking thing, like whatever she did with Mercedes? Like, what is she doing? So it's just weird stuff right there.
Yeah, she's going to host Halloween Havoc, apparently.
Maybe she can be the host.
That's all she's good at doing is just sitting there and looking scary.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, apparently they have no faith in the Team Shock Clique because they're not winning. They went back to formula and beat Boa and Xia Li within an inch of their life, and they came back killers, and that only lasted for a month or two. So you got a little something with Mei Ying there, but they're going to surround her with if subject seat was in. So so they can show me something. I'm done with that little faction.
Mm-hmm. Then Legado, Dave Fantasma, speaking of factions, defeated Hit Row by pinfall. Now we have a woman, Elektra Lopez, involved with Legado de Fantasma. So now we have the sides are even. We could get our first intergender War Games match. We've not. You could check that off the first thing to do. It'll be interesting, kind of see if Elektra and B-Fab, because we haven't seen B-Fab in the ring as well either. So, we'll kind of see if maybe what she could do, because I'm ready to see what she could do. I'm done with the ciphering. I'm done with the raps. I'm done with, it's fine in, limits, but it's time to see what B-Fab could do in the ring. And now you have a woman on Legado's side, which makes me think they'll probably be down for NXT for a little bit longer. Even though I still think they're needed on Raw a little more than SmackDown, but it does look like, Legado de Fantasma is kind of NXT for a little bit longer. So Greg, we finally got what we wanted. We have a woman involved in a really good match, and these factions going at it, good gang warfare happening with them. Your own thoughts on all that?
Yeah, I like it. And, it's always been kind of ignored that the sides were uneven, and when Legato gets up, the BFAB is the equalizer, and she comes and turns the tide. I've been wondering who are they going to bring in as a female representative. I thought about Mercedes Martinez just because of the Latino heritage thing. I don't know who Electra Lopez is, but looking at her, she looks like a beast, and I mean that the greatest way possible. And I love it because now we're going to get to see, what BVAP can do in the ring. And, I love the idea of intergender war games. And, in war games, anything goes. Those women can throw around the men just as well as they can throw each other around. Because they're bigger than, half the men that are in that match if they did it as war game style. So they could push the envelope a little bit with it, with not just the women fighting each other, but also fighting the men, and the men getting licks on them getting licks on the men, the way they did in Lucha Underground. Check out Tubi and watch all the great intergender matches they had there. Brutal intergender matches.
Frankie Monet knows all about that, right? She was part of those.
Exactly. Then you had the angle with Ivelisse and Jeremiah Crane, aka Sammy Callahan, and now.
Did Io Shirai do some intergender stuff? Because she was in Lucha Underground for a little bit too. Did she mix it up with them? Did she? I'm pretty sure.
If she was one of the Lotus girls.
I thought she had a mask, right?
It could be. I'm trying to remember. I remember the Lotus tribe, but there was 5 of them dressed kind of ninja style.
Yes.
But yeah, that's the perfect example of how to do a great intergender match, and looks great, and nobody's getting all up in arms because a male is striking a female and vice versa, because we're suspending our disbelief here. But this is a great opportunity to do that and do it here on this platform. So I hope that's what happens, because it would be amazing, and it could set a new bar that's not done in wrestling on this side of Mexico. So I'm all for it. It happens.
If it happens, yeah, we'll see. So that was NXT. Did you see the new logo they're throwing out there, Greg, for it? Do I need a screen shared? Have you seen the new logo that we are getting for NXT?
No.
Okay, well, let me find it really quick. People are, bashing on it because it's more colorful and, whatever. But let me bring it up really quick. Let's see.
They're saying it's going just back to straight developmental.
So can you see that now?
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, so that is the new logo. I think it looks like MTV personally, but some people are throwing out the Nickelodeon aspect. And yes, they are no longer actively scouting indie talent. Now, I will kind of add the caveat. Good talent is good talent. I think if there's an indie talent that they keep hearing about and they think they want to sign him or her, they're going to sign him. But I think it means more. They're not going to go to an indie show or go to Progress or Evolve or what go to these indie shows and have William Regal there looking like. But you can't tell me if they hear some buzz on somebody, they're not going to at least entertain the idea or get video on the guy or girl or go And then some people said, well, this might be better for indie talent because now they can work the indie scene and make their name and not have to worry maybe about if they want to try to make it might almost be like a glass ceiling though. Like, will that stop them from a certain level? Maybe, but you still have AEW, you still have Impact, you still have Ring of Honor. We still have these other, territories that they can go to. So Lance Storm had brought it up, as well, that if they hear buzz on somebody, you can't tell me that Triple H isn't running to the video to watch him, or, sending somebody from NXT to that show to see that guy or girl. Like, whatever. But so this is the new logo. Is it colorful? Yeah. I personally think they needed some color in it because, like we've said, the CWC to me is pretty dark. Like, even watching matches, it's kind of tough to watch the matches just with it being so dark. So, lighten it up a little bit. I'm just saying it's just a logo. Like, people were literally up in arms saying, this is the ugliest thing ever. I can't believe what they're doing to NXT. Like, how many times have they changed NXT on us, Greg? Like, Yeah,
but it's always been the consistent black and gold brand. This looks like they gave the NXT logo to a 5th grade class and gave them some watercolor.
Okay.
Yeah, and they just, splattered watercolor all over it.
It does not have the black and gold. You're right. I will say that. It's what is it going to be known as is a bigger, and then I know, like they said, they're going to stop going more. I think they said, younger guys and girls, maybe bigger, stronger people. But like I said, if there's some 5'9" guy that could go in the ring, cut it on the mic, looks good, maybe they look good in their frame. You can't tell me that somebody's going to say, okay, let's at least see what this person could do. Maybe actively scouting out, sure. Because, you got to think, you do have a roster. We keep saying you have a roster now that you need to take advantage of. So, by the way, where's Adam Cole going? We still don't know that.
I can already tell you he's going to AEW. I guarantee it. There's no doubt in my mind he's going to show up on AEW.
And some people thought he might have showed up last night. I don't think he was going to show up last night. But anyway, so we'll see when he was. Well, he wasn't teased, which we're getting into Dynamite now. But somebody else was teased, and that just if that happens, yeah. If Daniel Bryan shows up at All Out, with the final countdown, with whatever Fight of the Valkyries, that tide is totally turned. That you already have Punk. Sorry, I should have.
I think definitely Flight of the Valkyries because we want to get some separation from WWE Daniel Bryan. So the
final countdown, you mean?
Final count, yeah.
Yeah.
We want to get away from Flight of the Valkyries.
I would be fine if he started with the Fight of the Valkyries and then like you did the Edge thing and it just cuts into the final countdown. You know what? You do some weird like you start it and then you just cut it real quick and maybe have his actual graphic come out, have the final countdown. If Tony Khan wants to pay Europe, the band that has it. He's paying Living Color for Cult Personality. So, and he's paying Baltimore for Jungle Boys music. So,
I can see it doing the Fight of the Valkyries for a couple seconds and then having the sound effect, the record skip, the needle skipping across the record. And then
you hear da-da-da-da.
So, everybody gets the joke and, the pops goes crazy and so.
And then Bryan Danielson will be that. We'll get into that real quick. So Orange Cassidy defeated Matt Hardy. I feel bad for Orange Cassidy because I kept thinking they're going to do something more with him. He beat Jericho in the Mimosa match and you thought, okay. And then he's, helping Yuta Wheeler and he's feuding with the Hardy office, whatever family office, Hardy family office, whatever they are. You talk about start and stop guy. That's Orange Cassidy. Like you keep feeling like they're going to pull the trigger. They're going to pull the trigger. Give him the TNT title. Maybe that's down the road, but I don't know, Greg. Like, am I too on the Orange Cassidy hype train? Like, should I just be happy with where he's at? Do you think there should be more for him?
No, man, I'm the conductor of the Orange Cassidy hype train. Man,
You're leading the
that's my
way.
guy, dude. That man is over. He is like, you list the biggest stars in AEW, and he is in the top 5 easy. And I think the way they're looking at him is, and it sucks they're doing the whole stop and start with him. But they know
he's over.
They can plug him in any moment they want.
Yeah.
They can say Kenny Omega and Orange Cassidy next
go for
week,
the title.
go for title, and everybody will lose their minds. He is ready to plug and play the moment they want because the guy is bulletproof. Everybody loves him, and you know it's just him being him, and we love it. We've been eating up, and you know his following is, you know, we are locked in. So it will happen eventually. We'd rather have it happen sooner than later, but I don't mind them taking their time and letting him build his foundation even more and even more. And,
do you think he gets a run with the title? Maybe not the heavyweight title. Do you think he gets a run with the TNT title or even tag team titles? Maybe with him and Chuck Taylor, or him and Yuta Wheeler, him and, you know, who's the Trent Barrett, or is that, am I right? Trent, right?
Yeah, Trent Barrett, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he needs a big title.
The heavyweight?
Heavyweight or TNT.
Probably more TNT.
Yeah, but you think about that match he had with Kenny, or was it the three-way match?
The three-way, and everybody was on.
Had a one-on-one match. He had
that's true.
Great moments in that three-way match that they had, but
he has had the one-on-one.
Yeah, we got that taste of what Kenny and Orange would be, and it was delicious. So it's ready to go the moment they say do it, and.
He might get that Impact Wrestling title, Greg, because remember we had the small tease on Rampage. We had Orange Cassidy in the front row, and then Orange Cassidy was in the background listening to Christian talk after he won the title. I mean, they have to play off that, don't they? Because you talk about, you know, dropping like truth bombs, like that's, you know, or dropping hints, like that might as well be laying it out on the table, or as you're good, laying it out on the green to hit it off the tee, like, you know.
Right. I don't want him to win the Impact title, but I do, as long as he keeps, you know, shows up on Impact with it, or shows up on AEW with it every week. But yeah, and I would watch Impact for a Orange Cassidy and Christian match. So, you know, I hope they do it, but that would be a moment that he's earned that. So, and that's a big honking Easter egg sitting there. Yeah. We all saw it, and nobody's mentioned it. The commentators were oblivious to it, and
but that has to be something. I don't think
it has to be.
AEW is not very bad about just throwing something out there without follow-up on it. So then Jericho and MJF, we'll get them one more time. Jericho's in-ring career will be on the line this time. I feel like we'll still get Jericho at least one more match down the road sometime. I don't think he will be completely done yet. I think they'll somehow write him back in. But we'll get this all out. I didn't realize MJF was 3-0 against Jericho, unless they're counting the big, like the team matches, but
they are.
So MJF probably will beat Jericho again, and then Jericho will be, you know, Rampage. You know, Greg, I still hate the 4-man team because I feel like I don't know who. Like, it's got to be tough for them too. Like 4 voices at once trying to talk during a show. So, what do you think about Jericho and MJF one more time? with Jericho's in-ring career on the line. And do you think it is officially the last match for Jericho? Or like I'm saying, do you think they'd write him back in somehow down the road, after Fozzie's done touring or, at Double or Nothing or something like that?
No, I think Jericho's going to win this.
Okay.
They beat him down and beat him down and beat him down. And eventually, the hero is going to rise and get his payback. So this looks like that moment, and I can see a scenario where after he wins, then he gets the beat down, and that writes him off TV for a little while he does his posse gig. But I think he definitely is going to get the win in this match, save his career, and afterwards is where the shenanigans going to happen. He gets beat down by MJF and Wardlow, or more the Pinnacle, and the Inner Circle's a little outnumbered. But that's the way to write him off after he gets the win. So I think that's what's going to happen.
Lucha Bros defeated Varsity Blondes. We have the Lucha Bros after Rampage last night. They are now getting a title shot against the Young Bucks in a steel cage. So that'll be cool to see. What do you think about the Varsity Blondes? I don't really care for them. There's nothing there. Like Julia, the cheerleader for them, and she's had some matches, and it is kind of interesting. Hollywood Blondes, which is Brian Pillman and Steve Austin. So it's kind of cool for Brian Pillman Jr. to play off of that a little bit, but I don't really care for them. Do you like them at all, Greg?
No, it's kind of like an Archie come to life.
So okay, like Riverdale.
I'm not a fan right now. Seem like decent guys, but little too wholesome, leave the beaverish kind of thing. So yeah, give them a little more edge.
But I mean, glad they got a match against Lucha Bros, because it's starting to just give them a little bit more, because you got to build up other tag teams.
True.
We can have Lucha Bros, Jurassic Express, Young Bucks as many times, but then you're eventually going to need that next tier to come up. So Jamie Hayter defeated Red Velvet. Chris Statlander comes out there and makes a save, because we are getting Chris Statlander and Britt Baker for the title. But let's talk about it, Greg. CM Punk's tees and the shoes, I believe, I don't know what they had this week, but I thought one week they said DB, and then another week they said AC, and I thought they said BW one week. So we had CM Punk laying it out there, though. All the crowd was going yes, and he says just be a little more patient. And, of course, that gets the internet, on fire. So Daniel Bryan at All Out, right?
Looks like it.
An appearance, probably.
A few more weeks, a little more patience. Yeah, let's see. That's the Casino Battle Royal match at All Out, right?
Yeah, but I want something bigger than I want something bigger for him than that. I still hold that as like something. Yes, it's big, but look at the past mystery opponents they've had for it. We had,
if you win the Casino Battle Royal, you'll get a title shot, correct?
That's true. Yeah.
So what better debut to have him come in, surprise entrant in the Casino Battle Royal, and win?
That's true. But then again, you got to put that on the main show? Like usually hasn't been on the well, no, I guess it has been on the main show. But I was trying to think, like, who's the last winner of that we've cared about? Because you had Lance Archer win it once. You had who else? Was Scorp? I can't remember. Anyways,
I think Scorpio did win.
Did he win it? No, he. Well, I know Matt Sydal was the mystery opponent that one time, and that's when he slipped. And that's been his AEW career in a nutshell. I was trying to think of who the last wasn't it. Leo Rush, that was the surprise entrance, okay. But I can't remember who won it that year because obviously it didn't matter. But anyways,
Right.
so
But
if you,
the way Daniel
yeah,
Bryan wins, you
I
automatically
mean, yes, it would
throw
be a
the
big.
pipeline to the champion, Kenny Omega.
That's
So,
true. And yeah. But then I feel like I want Daniel Bryan to win the title right away.
well, it's time for Kenny to lose. So,
It is
they
time
already
for Kenny.
taken the Impact strap off of him, and this is the time where the Elite's going to slowly and surely get
break
defleeced.
apart or fracture.
Yeah, all the
And
gold
we already
is going to
had,
start slipping away.
and we already lost Hangman Page, which I'm still trying to figure. I mean, I understand staying home for a baby, but unless anyways, who knows what's more with that? So, Darby Allin, John Moxley, Eddie Kingston defeated the Wingmen. Yeah, talk about the weirdest faction in AEW. Like even weirder than the Dark Order when the Dark Order were first together. It's Caesar, Bozani, Dolph Ziggler's brother, Ryan Nemeth, the JD Drake, who looked like somebody said roadkill from the ECW days. Remember the Amish? And then Peter Avalon, who on BTE is still trying to get back with Leva Bates, the Librarians. So the Wingmen. But anyways, and then speaking of
why
weird factions, the Gun Club defeated the Factory. I am just waiting for the internet to burn when QT Marshall beats Big Show at All Out, Greg. Like some people want to watch the world burn, and I want to see that. And I was going back and forth with somebody on Twitter. They're like, well, they're just waiting for Anthony Ogogo to come back to defeat Big Show. And I said, I'd even think about Anthony Ogogo because that shows how much I care about him now.
Yeah.
Like he's still a thing, apparently.
Well, we haven't seen him in a while, so
we haven't seen him since
it's not that
his
big a
loss to
thing.
Cody. Yeah, and if he defeats the Big Show, he'll probably just do the Floyd Mayweather thing and just punch him out once. And but how about the end though, Greg? Malachi Black defeated Brock Anderson, and Black lays out Arn and Brock, and then to crickets comes out Big Shotty, Lee Johnson, and talk about like lack of, I mean, there was nothing. And even Malachi was getting not really any reaction towards the end of that match because I think we need more from Malachi. Like this stuff with Brock and Arn is, we had the Cody thing, and I kept saying, how are you going to follow up with that? And you're not really following it up with anything worthwhile. And, Lee Johnson, like, I mean, I don't know. Like, I can't even describe, he, I don't know. Like, help me out, Greg. I'm falling off the raft here.
No,
you have anything on Lee Johnson? Like,
yeah,
he's not in Malachi's level.
No, he's more grist for a mill, pretty much. So there's got to be somebody waiting in the wings that's going to be a legitimate challenger for him, because Lee Johnson is going to get this work too, and it's going to go just as quickly as Brock Anderson. So I like it that they're making Malachi look as strong as possible, but it's time to level him up. His bar is full. It's to level him up to the next guy.
Yeah.
So, there's plenty of guys to bring out from the back to further his cause. And so,
do we do?
Kati is not going to be the man.
And we do Malachi Black and Lee Johnson at All Out. Because it's a pretty full card right now. Or do you just do that on a TV?
That's a Dynamite match.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a match for Dynamite.
Well, does Malachi do something at All Out?
If the next big bad comes out after the Dynamite match against Shotty, yes. But if not, then we can send him out this one and put him in that.
Then Full Gear, maybe. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's all I got on Dynamite. Did you have anything that I missed that you want to catch up on? Kind of a lackluster one, I thought.
It was.
I mean, this and like the CM Punk stuff, like Greg, people have already said it.
Those main events.
We got to get. Go ahead.
Loving Miro's work.
Yeah,
Miro's promos are one of my favorite spots of the whole show every week. So I'm looking forward to him and Eddie Kingston. That's going to be a great match.
And that's set for All Out. See, I thought that was happening on Dynamite, and then I saw that it was listed as All Out, and I was like, oh, I'm mistaken. I was mistaken about that. So, yeah, and the CM Punk stuff, like, we got to move on a little bit from the whole I'm happy to be here, right? Like, he's given that like a couple times now, and then he did it.
Right.
I'm
still trying to understand why Darby Allin.
That's why I was going to ask you. Do we see Darby and Punk touch before All Out?
No.
So we'll do the old school where they don't get physical till All Out.
Right. There's no heat between them aside from, Darby calling him out and, the best world show up and, Punk acknowledging him, saying, I'm seeing prove myself, but there's no animosity between them.
Could they be in the ring at the same time though before All Out?
Until you
like
get
a face-to-face.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh.
So I'm confused why they're doing this as the opener. I know, Punk's like the biggest thing in a long time, and Darby's, again in that top 5 of, AEW favorites. So why are you matching these two up? Unless one's going to turn, or it just doesn't make sense to me that they're doing these two right now, where there's a dearth of heels waiting.
To go at Punk.
To go at Punk, and to start with Darby Allin still doesn't make sense to me. So I hope in the storytelling, it comes out and it makes sense down the road, but right now I don't get it.
And then, like you brought up, I wonder if this opens the night for All Out. But then if you're having Daniel Bryan as your surprise entry into the Battle Royal for the Casino Battle Royal, you got to open with that and just get the crowd amped. Not the middle of the night, like.
Yeah.
So, but if you're not doing Daniel Bryan, then this probably should open the night. Because, do you want the show hijacked by CM Punk chants throughout the night? Or just get him out, not get him out of the way, but, let him have the first match and,
I was
see
thinking
what they can do.
I was thinking that should have been the main event. That, Chicago's favorite son, should be the main event.
Especially since we're getting Kenny and Christian, but.
Right, you don't want to close the show with that.
I mean, I don't think, but they love their AEW title matches at the end of the night, though.
Right, but if Christian wins, he's not going to get the pop that Punk's going to get if Punk wins. Not even close.
That's true.
Not even a tenth of it. So,
I guess I would just, I guess if they don't care about that, would the CM Punk chants throughout the night ruin stuff? That's just what I would wonder.
I don't think it would, because they know it's coming. They know his match is coming. They wouldn't hijack the show because they take.
And it's almost like they almost don't need to say it because they know he's there.
Right. They take pride in being smarter wrestling fans and having more respect for product.
That's not have the word smarter. No. We wrestling fans dumb. No. Anyways. Yeah. All right. Smart marks. What an oxymoron that is. But anyways, that's a whole nother conversation. Let's do another break. Get some more bills paid here for our realty talk, and we'll come right back and finish up last night. We got some SmackDown stuff happening, and then we'll talk up Rampage with Brandon Cutler in the main event.
Oh, man. What
is up, everybody? It's your boy Dan over at BWSPORTS1.com and Black and White Sports. And I'm wondering if you're ready to buy or sell that home, now's the time, and I got just the person for you. Mr. Sean Nugent, a.k.a. Rockstar Realtor himself. 317-503-8322. Put that home on the market. Get into your dream home with this man. Talk to Sean at Talk to Tucker today, 317-503-8322. And make sure you tell him the boys over at BWSports1.com sent you.
All right, I forgot we got one more, so let's give you one more bit of energy talk. Get our brains all going for Friday night. And let me give you one more commercial break, and then we'll be right back. All right, and we are back, ready to rock and or roll. We got some stuff to talk about Friday night SmackDown. We had Becky Lynch out there first, taking in the crowd until she decided to turn on the crowd. And like you brought up, Greg, there were some boos. So, and I'm hearing Becky requested the heel turn. Like she wanted to come back as a heel, which is whatever, you know. Her and Seth must have been talking up heel turn plans, you know, with holding the baby at night or something. But, and I'm, you know, hey, if she wants a heel turn, I'm sure Vince is like, whatever, like you're the man, like have at it. So, and Becky needed a little more edge to her towards the end of that run, you know, Like we kept saying, I thought maybe the Shayna Baszler stuff would have given her a little more edge, and it didn't. Even when she got a bite taken out of her back, which, oh my goodness. Anyways, Shayna's probably hoping she still was. I bet Shayna's probably hoping she still was doing that, honestly, compared to what she's doing now. I mean, yeah. So, anyways, so talk about parade of challengers. We had Bianca come out there, demand a rematch for that night. We had Liv or Selena Vega come out there. We had Carmella come out there, and finally, the it girl, everybody's favorite girl right now, Liv Morgan, come out there. Somebody already calling it for Liv Morgan to win the Royal Rumble of 2022, Greg. So, yeah.
Right.
Well, yeah, we'll see. Maybe a good run, maybe. But, you know, I don't foresee Liv Morgan winning. But anyways.
I'll eat it if Liv Morgan wins the Women's Royal Rumble.
All right, Mark it.
I'll eat it on the show.
Let me clip it right there. I love one that somebody tweeted out yesterday. I will buy everyone like an Xbox if Adam Cole debuts. And part of me is like, oh my God, please come out. Because, you know, people are going to hold that person to their word. So anyways, but all right, you will eat a hat if Liv Morgan wins the 2022 Royal Rumble. I am fine with that.
Absolutely. Clip and save.
I could see her getting a title shot, though. I mean, why not? You know, you could throw her at Becky because Becky's going to kill everybody on the way to Mania anyway. So, you know, why not? Why not? But Bianca Belair, in all the chaos, wins a elimination style match. Zelina Vega, though, wow, you came back for this. Like right. She has not won, right, since she's came back. Like
no,
yeah. So, anyways, and I was waiting more for Corey Graves to talk up Carmella. I mean, that's his boo thing,
right?
He wasn't really. But how about Kevin Owens on commentary? I thought Kevin Owens was a nice voice. Like there's definitely room for him. So, Greg, have at it. All the women's side of thing. What do you think about Becky And her and Bianca now will get, and we're going to get a legit match at Extreme Rules, and I'm fine with that. So,
yeah, the talk of burying Bianca is a little premature. We didn't like what happened at the SummerSlam, but she's going to get her rematch, and I like the way this segment played out. Not that we thought that Liv Morgan or Carmella or Zelina Vega were going to be taken seriously, but it was all set up to show Bianca's frustration. And once Becky said no, that it showed her bullying point and her, stand up for herself. I'm not going to take it anymore, and just beating the crap out of the other women in the ring.
Yeah.
And solidify herself, like, I'm going to be the one to tear off. And, not like we needed to see the match to know that was going to be the outcome, but now we set up.
But it builds up Bianca too. Like, it made her roll through those three women.
Make her look strong. And, now we're going to have a prepared Bianca going in, babyface Bianca going in against newly heel Becky.
The sides are, and we need the sides defined. Like, I don't think you want the crowd mixed on Bianca right now. Like, I don't think you want the crowd cheering for Becky, and then maybe some of it, like, you want, because for Bianca to get back, get her bounce back, you want the crowd fully in her favor. So that's why I was fine with, like, I mean, it almost makes sense in a way for, Becky to beat her the way she did. I mean, I hate saying back to Daniel Bryan, but what helped Daniel Bryan get the crowd support? Him losing to Sheamus in 10 seconds. Like, people saw the right, like, so, like I said, it didn't look good at the time, but, and then also I want to book in the other end of things, Greg. So we had Roman Reigns out there with, by the way, I love the Bloodline t-shirt. That's another wish list item I want to draw up, because they had, Jimmy and Jay in there. They had the stack of money on the table. That was a really cool looking shirt. So Finn Balor comes out and issues a challenge. So, we'll probably get Finn Balor, Roman Reigns at Extreme Rules. And like we said, that circles things back and helps, get Finn Balor some steam back. Even if he loses, he could get a good high quality match with Roman. And maybe that could main event, for Extreme Rules. Because right now, what will? I mean, maybe Becky and Bianca, because that feels like that has the most steam. So, you wonder where you'll put this. But, I'm fine with Roman Reigns and Finn Balor going at it in a legit match, too.
Yeah. I'm keeping my fingers crossed for Finn, because I think he was really done dirty coming back, and the way they did the whole John Cena situation, it made him look really bad and really gullible. And it threw him into the bottom of the pile with Corbin and that.
We still need Finn and Cena, I think. I think we still need Finn and Cena somehow.
Right, and I like that he came out, tried to reestablish his swagger and go, I'm going to challenge you, and I still got a bone to pick with John Cena. So it lends us to believe that John's going to be back for more than just that match, and he's going to pay off the Balor rivalry also. I'm not a fan that they're going to do this Balor match on SmackDown unless Balor wins, and not wins the title, but wins by DQ or something like that, so that he gets the W, and it sets up a future match. Gives Finn bragging rights to say, you couldn't handle the heat, and I want my championship match. Like I said, they did him dirty in the beginning, so now it's the time to make good on it, because he didn't come out from all the good in NXT to be Um,
Back to his
you know,
old self.
right. So, you got to build him back up. You got to strengthen him, make it look as good as he did um, in NXT. And there's so many ways you can go with him. Um, have him give Roman a run for his money. Get that DQ win. Um, and then when he gets the title match, have him come maybe this close to winning. And then you still have the attraction of the Demon, which we haven't seen in 2 years, 3 years maybe.
Yep.
And him, cutting a promo. I may need to dig a little deeper, need to dig a little dirtier, darker, and maybe my alter ego is going to come pay you a visit, and then we're intrigued to see the Demon and Roman Reigns, because the Demon doesn't lose. So I can't think of a match yet where I saw the Demon lose, and there's your intrigue right there. So it's there to be written. So I like it that way for Finn, but you got to build him back up, get him some dubs, and make the storyline legit.
Some of the other stuff that happened. So those are our big main ideas on SmackDown. We had Cesaro defeat Chad Gable by DQ. Otis came in there and wrecked things. Who is Cesaro going to get on his side to even things up here? Adam Cole?
No. Adam Cole will not appear on WWE TV again.
Will you eat a hat? Will you eat a hat
story.
if Adam Cole appears on SmackDown?
Oh, we already know that far yet?
No.
Maybe
You gotta
not.
think. I know, Greg, it's outside the ring, but Cesaro and Adam Cole have a little good friendship outside the ring. Never know.
It's not going to happen. He is AEW probably within the next 6 weeks on AEW TV. Like I said,
technically he could be on any time now, right? Because he has no.
Right, his contract was up before his takeover match, and
he had the last appearance with Johnny Gargano doing some video or a action figure thing. So
right, he's gonzo. He's not coming back on WWE TV.
Somebody joked, they said they should get him a Lex Luger shirt like that, where he did for Nitro. He had that weird button-up white shirt where he showed up at the Nitro show where it was in the Mall of America. And they're like, what's Lex Luger doing on TV? So, I don't know who Cesaro, like Nakamura's busy with, Rick Boogs. Maybe Big E, just for Big E to do something.
Yeah.
No.
I know. Good question.
Well, we got Big E and Happy Corbin feuding, so yes, I'm calling him Happy Corbin because that's what they're calling him now.
Right. Yeah, we were wondering where that storyline was going to go, and
we saw it.
Come on, man. That's it. That's what you give us. I mean, how many times you're going to do the rags to riches? Cameron Grimes or his GameStop stock paid off, and now he's rich. Baron Corbin goes to Vegas, and now he's rich.
Well, somebody joked they should have just kept Corbin in Vegas, like just had him keep doing stuff from like segments from Vegas, or some casino, like him winning. Like, don't even have him on TV wrestling, but now we're gonna get Big E and Baron, Happy Corbin, which is a fun nickname, I guess. But whatever.
It makes me think of Happy Gilmore. I mean,
yes, exactly.
Happy Corbin, come on, man.
Or I think of like the 50s or like the 40s and 30s, like it should be Dapper Dan, and stuff like that, like Happy Corbin. So and Shinsuke Nakamura, Rick Boogs defeated Robert Roode, Dolph Ziggler. We kind of saw that coming. And then Sami Zayn defeated Dominic versus pinfall, via pinfall. And we saw Dominic walk away from Daddy because, now he's getting fed up with Daddy Ray, Greg. So, which we all said was coming. Yeah, it's happening. We need that. The Michael Scott. Everybody stay calm. Stay calm, because Daddy and son are gonna feud. And so I was watching with my mom a couple weeks ago, and I told her that's coming. She's like, I hate when they do that with families, like Nikki and Bree stuff. I'm like, well, I mean, that's the way they do it. I mean, look at the McMahons. How often do we see Stephanie and Shane and Vince and Linda? Linda. Yep. But anyways, so, I kind of rushed through SmackDown because SmackDown was kind of,
Yeah,
it's been pretty, but then it drew, great. They said it drew in 2.8 million viewers overnight. And what's funny is here, we didn't have SmackDown Live because we had the Colts on. So the Colts played preseason game. So I had to watch SmackDown this morning. So I didn't even get to watch SmackDown Live because Fox held the Colts and Lions preseason game 3, Greg. Since that's what we all wanted to watch here in Indiana. Was the preseason game 3 of the Colts and Lions, which they won.
But Rivers make a cameo?
No, he did not. He is still coaching down in Mississippi, his son's high school football team.
Hey, that's my guy, PR17.
Carson's practicing, so that's good. We might get Wentz back sooner rather than later. So, and they said he can't re-injure it. Whatever he got surgery on, it can't be re-injured, so that's good news. But I'm afraid of something else, like arm or the other leg, like our other ankle. So, but we'll see how. We'll need to get on the football talk sometime with the Dukes of football and bring up our football team sometime there. So, should we talk about Rampage? Because some stuff happened on Rampage. We brought it up earlier. The Lucha Bros defeated Jurassic Express. I was kind of surprised. I thought we'd revisit Jurassic Express, Young Bucks, and probably put the titles on Jurassic Express. If we want to play up this whole, they start losing the titles of the Elite and see where they could go after that. But do we see a title change for the Lucha Bros win the titles off of Young Bucks, Greg?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm with you. I thought this tournament was set up for the Jurassic Express to win, and the Lucha Brothers were my pick from the beginning. So I was pleasantly surprised when they won this match. They already have a win over the Young Bucks, and in my opinion, they're the best tag team in the company. Rey Fénix is the best luchador on the planet, period. I have not seen anybody better than him, past, present. Rey Fénix is the most amazing luchador that I've ever seen. The guy's moves are jaw-dropping. Every match, it seems like he does something you haven't seen before. So, love the guy, and I love that to the Lucha Underground. Shout out to Tubi. And I hollered at Tubi on Twitter to try to get us some
love.
Maybe some bennies.
Every time I should just try to clip we should try to do the clips in order to share the clips where we shout them out. If I get really good at it.
Exactly.
There we go.
But
yeah, I was kind of surprised at Jurassic Express.
That the Lucha Brothers won. Yeah, but Lucha Brothers need it. They have not got enough shine for they've been around since day one, and they have not had their time in the sun yet, and they deserve it. So I can definitely see them winning, especially in a cage. and this continues the storyline of the Elite unraveling and losing their titles. So, the Lucha Brothers are the most deserving team as far as taking the Bucks belt.
And Jurassic Express are so over. Like, do they need titles? When you think about it. So, and they've been over for a while. So
yeah.
Miro beat up Fuego de Sol, and then threw him in the ring with his interview. Eddie Kingston came out there. They tried to brawl. It was separated. That match is set for All Out. We kind of talked it up earlier. This is a really solid kind of undercard match that could maybe not steal the show, but it's probably going to be a really solid match between the two. And nice to Eddie Kingston to get another type of title shot, because the last time he got it was against Cody Rhodes, right? The TNT title shot, I believe, because that's when we first saw Eddie Kingston kind of show up. So, how about the Bunny over Kati? I was kind of surprised with that, because the Bunny hasn't won anything as far as I've known since watching. But we did have Penelope Ford come out, which of course means Anna Jay needs to come out to help Tay Conti, so we could get Anna Jay and Tay Conti back together, and we could get the Bunny and Penelope Ford kind of playing off each other.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on that match?
Yeah, good old distraction.
Finish.
Yeah, good old distraction finish. And my most amusing moment was hearing Chris Jericho refer to Bunny as Allie. And
because that's
I still love Allie. Bunny not so much, but always love Allie. And but yeah, you're right, setting up this 2-on-2 kind of women's rivalry. So it is what it is. It was
because I think Anna Jay's probably obviously I would think she's definitely ready to come back. I would from whatever. I thought she had that bad leg injuries or leg, surgery. So I would definitely think she's due back. So, and then the main event, like I brought up earlier, Brandon freaking Cutler on a main event of Rampage. LAC lost. Christian Cage, Frankie Kazarian defeated Kenny Omega, Brandon Cutler. Just building up the rivalry between Kenny Omega and Christian Cage. Still hard to believe we're getting Cage and Omega for the AEW title, but that's where we're going. Any last thoughts, Greg, on Rampage's main event from last night?
Yeah, if there was ever a time to wipe out the number one contender WWE style and put somebody else into the top to face the champ, this would be the moment. But I think they have enough of a wrinkle with Christian winning the TNA title to make it worth running it back at the same time. And this, I think, is going to be the co-main event instead of closing the show, because I really don't think the fans are going to care less. Even if Kenny lost and Christian won, I think it's still going to be kind of an apathetic response. Christian isn't as over as he thinks he is, and
especially when we consider where they should have went. Like, I mean, you had the tailor-made story. Now, I guess you could still pull it off at Full Gear, because Full Gear is about as full circle as you get, because that's where they lost the tag team titles for Hangman and Kenny. So what better way to give Hangman Page his coming out party, like to beat Kenny Omega that weekend. I think it's Saturday, November 6th-ish. And let him, or maybe it's the 7th or whatever day. Maybe it's on a Sunday instead. But yeah, let him have that moment and let that be the main event, and see where things go. But hey, two contract Cutler gets to do a main event, so that's good for him. Who would have ever thought, like from being he's the camera guy for BTE, by the way, Greg. So he was their camera guy, and his wife makes gear. So she does a lot of the gear for AEW. So kind of full circle there with all that. But so any other last minute thoughts? I will say good luck in your little weekend getaway. with the,
right?
the
Or
lady
you think of the
or man or whatever. Hey, partner, whatever. I'm just trying to be cognizant of who we date.
All right,
You can.
Mr. PC. What did you think about Scott Demore uh, hinting that what was it?
Or
You
who?
know, Buddy Matthews
Oh yeah.
coming, and then
Yeah.
Braun for Glory being a thing.
I can't believe Braun will end up like Buddy Murphy. He fits there because you got Hawkins, you have Ryder, you have the Chris Bay, you have Lee, Rich Swann. You have guys his size. I mean, he looks a little bulkier. And some people are saying Bray should go there. Bray will look out of place because Bray is too
Absolutely.
like he's above them. Like they're now, if Matt Hardy was still there, if they were still doing some of the more, the Impact, like what from a few years back when they were doing the cinematic matches and all that, but Bray's going to look like a sore thumb or whatever phrase I'm looking for. Like I feel like he's going to look above them, and is that what you want?
No.
I don't know, like Braun. Well, what's funny is Braun always said if he's on WWE, he won't wrestle. Well, so much for that. But I might too. I would probably if I could find it on Access TV, wherever you could watch that at. I kind of want to see Braun there though, just to see what he can do. But
he fits there. I mean, he deserves to be a big fish in a small pond.
Yes, but Bray is too big for that pond. Like Bray has shown that
way too big. Braun is not though.
Yeah, and Buddy Murphy. I mean, like whatever. I was into the guy. Like obviously Wesley Blake and Buddy Murphy with Alexa Bliss, like that tag team, and then even when Murphy was on 205 Live, I liked the stuff he was doing. And I thought maybe the stuff with Seth should have went somewhere, but it never did. And it's like, whatever, then you just lose hope for a guy. So it's like, but yeah, I'll be interested to see. Bray Wyatt is the one that I want to see. Where is he going to end up? Because if he does go to Impact, like, or else you go to Impact and then he shows up on AEW, like maybe he'll be the crossover star that they finally use, other than, because like we said, they never once had Rich Swann on as champion in that match, building up that match with Kenny Omega. Like Kenny Omega kept going there, and I don't know if it did anything, but shouldn't it be a two-way street?
No, not when your champion looks like a hobo. I mean, who's going to buy Rich Swann as the champ?
Then I hope that CM Punk grays out his beard when he gets championship.
At least Punk looks legit.
No, I get it.
Rich Swann looks like the guy outside the grocery store panhandling for change.
He's working at the 7-Eleven, they always say. The gas station clerk.
I did not buy him. And he's a good wrestler, but I wish he'd just, soup up his look.
And good. I mean, it seems like he's a good person.
We could have bought it. Yeah. I mean,
but
yeah. No, that's all.
Hey, he got a run down there. Yeah, but it'll be interesting. I mean, like I said, Braun though, it feels like he could be, like you said, the big star in the small pond and get used like he should.
Yeah,
I hope
exactly.
And could still maybe does some crossover with AEW. Maybe shows up.
Yeah,
maybe shows up like to challenge TNT title just to do it, type deal. But we'll see what. But right now it's Adam Cole. Like he's the big, Daniel Bryan, I guess too. But but we kind of, it feels like now I'm starting to think, okay, Daniel Bryan is going to be in AEW. Like we keep saying, until I see him step foot out of that curtain, it's like Punk. Like you could tease me all you want. You could literally said CM Punk is going to be here tonight on Rampage. I still would have said his feet better show up there outside the ring. I want to see him step outside the curtain. But it's like that's what, and that's like with Adam Cole too. Like until we see where Adam Cole, and now what about Ruby Riott? Where do you think Ruby ends up? Because now have you seen there's little vignettes for her and this whole she had a one-way ticket to New York, and then the train left without her, and then she was at a gas station. She stole somebody's car, and they started playing her old music, the Ruby Riott theme, and she got all depressed and sad, not knowing where to go. So now she's doing little vignettes to see where she's going, which I like better because Buddy Murphy's playing up the old, I was trapped in jail and I couldn't get out of the jail, kind of like Moxley. And I'm like, you weren't complaining when you were there. Well, I guess he kind of was, but I don't like the idea, are you handcuffed in a way to WWE? Yeah. But do you have to be so literal with it? Like he's literally doing these shackles, in a jail cell type promo videos. And I'm like, whatever, dude.
Yeah.
But where about Ruby? Do you think Ruby ends up in Impact?
She fits there. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think would she get lost in the shuffle at AEW?
Yeah, exactly. She has room in Impact, but there's not really much room in AEW right now for her. Down
and then what about
possibly, but
and then the Iconics are now going by in separation. It's 2 eyes, Greg, by the way. So we'll see I think they end up in Impact as well, honestly. Because if you have the knockout women's title, like the tag team title, the AEW really, it's either, it's just really the women's title. There's no, I don't think tag teams need to go. And especially if they want to be used together, it makes more sense to go to Impact, mess with the the knockouts tag team titles there. So, but they're already going to be on a virtual signing, and then there's another thing advertised for October. So now they're doing a tour, they're calling it, try to get their name back out there. So I'm pretty excited because you remember I was talking about the Squared Circle Expo that I attended this past year to meet Darby Allin, Sammy Guevara, and who was Britt Baker. So now they've already announced FTR, and they just announced Proud and Powerful. So that's nice. pretty good now. And that's another team. I don't know if you've heard about what's going on with Cash, where he legit didn't know if he could wrestle anymore because he wasn't feeling like when he ripped open his arm, I guess it got into some nerves and he lost strength in his hand. That's scary. I didn't realize it was that. So we'll see if they're, now we know why they're going to do the match here because, maybe you don't know when it could happen again. So we'll see if FTR, because I feel like if they can't go as a tag team, does Dax want to go on by himself? Does he feel comfortable in that role?
Yeah.
So, but anyways, I wish you luck, Greg, this weekend, though. I think it sounds like a really fun weekend for you. Myself, we got, we're going to do a little online game night tonight. We had a couple friends, unfortunately, in COVID isolation. So they kind of want to do something to, get out of that mindset. So we said we do a little online game night, which we haven't done in a little bit. So, because we've been meeting in person, but now we couldn't. So, and then next week is All Out. I will have to get in touch with you, Greg, because I'm doing 2 fantasy football drafts live, both at noon on Saturday and Sunday.
Nice.
So I'm trying to figure out when the hell am I going to do the show. So I apologize in advance, Superkickin with Steven fans. We will see. We'll talk over this week and see how early you get up, Greg, because I'm an early riser. So if you could do it early, and maybe we'll probably just do all out predictions and kind of do a short and sweet episode that way, if that's okay. And get caught up on things. But I don't do a lot of prep for fantasy football drafts, but I always got to be there in person. Now I was trying to decide how I could swing that when I'm doing both nights. So it's not rigged there, is it? Are you getting caught in some rain? You look a little wet.
Oh, it's just starting to rain.
Okay. Well, all right. We'll call it a night here. We'll cut here so you can get out there safe. Have a good weekend, though. Let me know all about it in my DMs. You don't have to share the public information. All right. Well, have a good one, Greg.
The invitation to be in the middle. All right. Take it easy.
Talk to you later.